Welcome back. President Obama has threatened executive action on immigration, and Republicans say that's like a declaration of political war. So a showdown is looming over this lame duck Congress. Joining me now is California Republican Congressman Jeff Denham. Welcome. Thanks very much. Now, you're from a part of California that has a large Hispanic population. It's a major issue out there, and you have supported immigration reform. What should the president and this new Congress do on immigration in the lame duck?
You know, it's something we need to be working together on. I mean, first, we need to secure our border. We've had over 50,000 unaccompanied minors come across the border this year. I mean, our border... people coming across our borders escalating right now. So, I mean, I think that's the first thing that we ought to do, and I think that also shows good faith on addressing the entire top-to-bottom reform on immigration. I also have a Build the Enlist Act. I mean, I think that should be one of the easier things to pass. Our kids that have come across the border to no fault of their own, brought across as children and now graduated from our high schools, if they're the best and the brightest and the military wants to bring them in, then we ought to allow them to do that.
This would be similar to what the president did with the Dreamers already. This is what Mr. Obama said to Bob Schieffer on Face the Nation most recently on immigration.
For a year, I stood back and let him work on this. He decided not to call the Senate bill, and he couldn't produce his own bill. And I told him at the time, John, if you don't do it, I've got legal authority to make improvements on the system. I'd prefer and still prefer to see it done through Congress.
Now, isn't he correct that John Boehner didn't bring it to the floor? There was a Senate bill. It could have been amended if he had brought it to the floor. So does the president have an argument here that he gave more than a year to Congress to act on it? They didn't. Why shouldn't he take some action himself?
Well, this is a... They controlled both houses of government. I mean, they had the Senate, they had Congress, they had the presidency, and they certainly could have made it a priority at the beginning of his term. But certainly he has the authority. He has the authority to secure our border today, to enhance border security, to allow Border Patrol to patrol areas of Texas that they're not patrolling today. So there are things that he can do today, but just doing an executive order, I think, is one of the issues that creates mistrust in government. We've got to have a Congress that works between the two houses and puts bills on the president's desk. I'm looking forward to seeing not only border security, but the Enlist Act, and then ultimately we've got to get a pathway to citizenship.
You saw the new Pew poll, 66% of Republicans saying that they want confrontation with the White House rather than accommodation. But don't people really want things done?
Yeah, I think people want Republicans to stand up to this president on some of the executive orders, some of the things that are stopping our job creation, but where we can come together and resolve American issues, things that will contribute to the greatness of America. Immigration, we're a nation of immigrants. We've got to fix our immigration policy. This de facto amnesty we have today with 11.5 million people, we need to make sure that they pass background checks, that they're paying their fair share, they're paying back taxes and any fines associated with it. And ultimately, you know, over a pathway that would take well over a decade, there would be no government subsidies, and it would be verifying that they actually had a job.
Now, you're from a state which has been suffering more than most from drought, from fires, from the effects of climate change. It's hard to say what is a cause and effect, but certainly the change in climate has had some impact on all of your very agricultural state. So what do you think about this agreement with China, which has already been criticized by Senate Republicans?
Well, I think goals are good, but it's going to come down to the regulation, and again, executive order by this president on EPA. I mean, the cleanest form of energy is hydro energy. We should be looking at more water storage, which would help in an area like ours, greater clean energy and getting water moving to our farm and our farming communities.
Jeff Denham, thank you.